Suvara is in the stables of the prosperous performance, that stone yacht that flies between the spheres. She's wearing her merit badge sash with her collected deity merit badges and her armor. She's got 2 puppets. She's doing a show for her horse, Janshi. She says,
"And that is the message of Mira, to respect the magic in the rocks."
She takes a little bow and says, "Okay, Janshi, what did you think?" And Janshi says, because he's a horse. Hello and welcome back. I am Royce Rosewood, your host and storyteller, and this is Sphere Hoppers, where we're playing Between the Skies and using other tools to generate a fantastical, cosmic fantasy sphere hopping exploration. So after our last episode, I've adjusted our thread and characters list a little bit. I've taken off Beware the Vortex, the message that the ghost was giving them, because I feel like that thread was resolved, but I have left on the Ether Explorer onto our characters list because I feel like it's possible that that character might come back and their exploration and the vortex that they opened up might all come back. And then I also added as a faction to our characters list the Geomancer Puppeteers of Mira because I thought they were hilarious and I'd really love to see them again. So I don't think I showed this off last time because of the problems with the camera, but this is just our general little map of where we're at. So here's the sphere of Troika over here, and here's Ashwati, where we're headed, where we believe that pointage, the dwarf, is, who we're looking for. We hit Serenzal, so we have 2 more spheres to go before we get to Ashwati. So lots more stuff for us to encounter. So the first thing that we need to roll up is to see what happens between Serenzal and the next sphere that we're headed to. So we're going to roll our Die of Fate, this extra large D12, for if we get anything unexpected. 10, no, not today. So we're just going to roll our Between the Spheres encounter. It's a 4. All right, we're going to roll up an encounter. Between the Skies has a number of different tables, including these tables for known space encounters and wild space encounters. Based on our proximity to Troika, I assume we're still relatively close to civilization. So we're going to roll up on the known space encounters for this one. As we get further afield, we might decide to change that. But all right, 26, Clergy. All right, we're going to roll up on these religious organizations tables to tell us about this clergy. All right, the focus of their faith is for a natural force or element. Their attitude is 5, self-improving. Descriptor, 53, nomadic. And the prominent element of their faith is 65, ancestors. So I'm looking at ancestors and I'm looking at natural force, and I'm wondering if the element that they revere is the aging process. Self-improving, nomadic, they look around, they travel around, they're trying to improve themselves, so they're like looking to older people and they're trying to learn lessons from the ancestors. And we're encountering them in space, so I want to learn about their ship. All right, 34. It's made of cut crystal, and it is in the form of 21, a seafaring ship with no sails. And Cam is our signaler, and so they're up and they get whatever signal it is. I don't know if it's flags or, light, or let's roll a story cube. How do ships communicate? Queen with a crown and a sword. Is it maybe a mirror? I think maybe she's holding a mirror. Okay, so they use like reflected light.
Hey everybody, I think they want to chat.
They pull the ships up alongside and they meet. They revere, ancestry and ancient things. They would be in the most ancient style possible. So, animal skins. And they say, hello, we are the ancestral clergy. We travel around learning as much as we can about our ancestors and ancient times, wanting to improve ourselves with skills. And so they look to the crew, and the oldest person on the crew, I haven't established this, but I think Kristen is older. He's a tiny bird, but he's old. He had this whole career, and then he, retired for a while. So I think he's probably the oldest in the crew. So here's my little picture of our tiny bird chef, if you haven't seen that already. They go to him and they say, oh, wise elder, teach us what you know. Well, the thing that Kristen knows is Hypermoja performance cooking. So the question is, can he teach that effectively? Do they already know that? They know a lot of different things. They've traveled in a lot of different places. So I'm going to say I don't know how rare Hypermoja cooking is. I don't know how specialized it is. We're just going to call it 50-50. We're going to ask the Oracle, do they already know Hypermoja cooking? Okay, 59. No, they don't. Okay, great. They all meet up on the deck, and where Kristen's got his setup, imagining large pots and dishes and, heating elements. And it's all open, right? And he can fly around. And so he does a little lesson in Hypermoja cooking. And how does that go? We'll test his Hypermoja cooking. 6, great. So it goes great. He shows it all off. He kind of teaches them the basics of, how to chop and flip, maybe, and the clergy, clap. And they say, yay, great. In exchange, they offer to teach Kristen something. Why don't we roll up on a random skill, and he'll get a point of a random skill, just for fun. What do they teach him in return? 54, tactics. One of the clergy comes out and, they have a chalkboard, and she's got this chalk, and she gives them a quick lesson on, tactics, how to handle battle situations, and, how to move people and position people. And is there a reason that they might need this for where they're headed? We're going to ask our fate chart, are they teaching them this for a specific reason because of where they're headed in space? 21, yes. You might be encountering a little bit more intense or combative situations where we have come from. So we're glad to equip you with a little bit of tactics. All right, and now we're headed to our next sphere where we might be expecting some conflict, either here or in the next couple places. We've got to roll on our die of fate. 11? Nope. So far, this die of fate has not given us anything, but that's okay. A new sphere. Let's see what we find here. All right, 22. It is a parched hills world. The flora are sharp. Tell us about our main landing site. 51. Oh, there's a festival. Keyword. 55. Abandoned. Uh-oh. And the detail is 42. Stickiness. And what is the name of this place? Sigoria. So they see this dry, I'm imagining sort of a beige or golden colored world. They come down and there are hills, but they are dry and the grass is long and sharp. They are landed in these festival grounds. There are tents and there are booths and places for dancing, but it's been abandoned and it's sort of covered in this sort of strange sticky substance. And now at this point, having gone 2 spheres, we will lose 1 unit of darkness, which is our fuel. Well, based on the warnings that we got that we might need combat and the fact that this place is abandoned and a little sticky, I don't know that we want to stick around here very long, but I think curiosity, of course, is going to get the best of us. So I think they're going to investigate a little bit and see if they can figure out what maybe happened here. Cam is going to use third eye to try to detect hidden and invisible. So we'll test third eye. 5. Okay, so it's successful. So now the question is there anything hidden or invisible? I have no idea. 50-50. 63. No. So Cam's third eye in the center of their forehead is moving around. And they say,
I don't see anything. I'm not sure what's going on here, but there's nothing hidden. We maybe should move along.
but I think I will add this as a thread of like Sticky Mystery Threat. Sticky Mystery Threat is also a great band name. Feel free to use that if you have a band and no name. So let's do another Between the Spheres encounter. Die of Fate. 3. We're going to have an encounter. And we're having an encounter on a location. So the way these tables work, and I've also just sort of making this up as I go along, I can roll up on the encounter tables generated from Between the Spheres, but then also generate encounters sort of anywhere. So since we got a location in Between the Spheres, it's going to be like a little space island of something. And then we're going to have some kind of encounter there too. So we're just going to put all this information together and see what we get. So how this works is I'm going to roll up a site of note, and it'll just be in space rather than on a sphere. All right. 11, it's a village. 31, it's cosmopolitan. And there's detritus. So it says village, but cosmopolitan makes me think that it's, bigger than that. So I'm thinking it's like a floating city Between the Spheres, and detritus makes me think that, maybe they are casting off trash, or they're, leaving debris. What's the name of this floating city? Sarian. I'm going to roll up on this urban events table for what's going on here. So what's the type? It is a ritual. And 31, pump. The ship comes into a landing platform. There's this city with, spires and buildings, and, flags on this rock floating in between the spheres. And when they get there, the whole place is involved in this ceremonial ritual. And there's, fancy dress and, processions. And maybe that's what all the detritus is. Maybe there's, they've been throwing confetti or, whatever goes on in this thing. And I'm wondering, with the festival, the abandoned festival on Sigoria, is this related? Did they maybe have to move it based on the sticky threat? Since they're so close, I'm going to call that very likely. 3, that is an extreme yes. This town, this village used to be on the sphere, but when this threat came, they like removed it and they launched it out into space so that they could keep doing this ritual. So they're asking around, and and they're hearing whispers and people talking about whatever this sticky threat is. I'm going to roll on the entities table to see where it could have come from. For an NPC, we're going to call that a powerful NPC. If they have the power to displace a ritual festival. Keyword 1, 53. Sacred. 35. Noble. And then I'll roll on this powerful NPC endeavors to see what that sacred noble was trying to do. 64. Find home planet or plane. Wait, maybe I've misjudged this whole thing. Is this whole ritual for this sacred noble to help them find their home planet or plane? Likely? 38. Yes. And let's get a name for this noble. Alicia. Sort of a god queen. They're wandering the streets and they're asking around, and they're, saying, what's going on? And they say, oh, for Alicia, we must send her back from where she came. We are performing a powerful ritual, so powerful that it has launched our village into the stars themselves. I'm just going to go ahead and say that she's from another plane. No, we haven't talked about this, but in Between the Skies, the framework is that you have the prime material, and that's like space. That's where all the spheres are, and you travel physically from sphere to sphere on a ship, and that's how you move about. But there are also planes that you can get to through various other means, where they exist on other dimensions, other levels of reality. This sticky queen is from, I'm imagining some sort of plane of stickiness, a plane of honey, a plane of sap. And she's been trying to get back there, and she's leveraged this entire village to perform this ritual to perhaps open a portal to get her there. Well, Suvara is going to put on her puppet show. She has promised Mira, the geomancer god of puppets, that in order to get Mira's badge, she has to perform a puppet show on a different sphere. I don't know if this counts because they're technically not on a sphere. But there's this other thing going on. There's this whole other festival ritual. So I'm going to make her test. She doesn't have puppetry. She's going to have to test basic skill, which is 4, to see if she's even able to like grab attention to put on this show. That's a 9. No, that's not less than 4. So, she's set up this little booth and she's got her puppets but no one's paying attention. I mean, there's this whole thing going on that's enraptured this whole city, this whole village. Well, okay, so we've got a sticky queen from the plane of honey, perhaps, and she's got this village in a ritual, and they're going to open a portal. At the very least, they're going to stay and watch. This is pretty interesting. This kind of thing doesn't happen all the time. Except it kind of does, because we're playing Between the Skies. They watch this ritual, and people are celebrating, and whatever they have to do. It's obviously a festival atmosphere. People are cheering, and there's songs, and there's drumming, and people marching through the streets carrying banners and maybe wearing masks. And they all gather into the central plaza. And there they see Olicia, this sticky queen, who gives an announcement. And she says, "Thank you so much for coming to my aid. I, who was banished from the realm of honey, seeking her return, her rightful return, as the queen." That's an interesting piece of information. "And thank you to you who have lent me not only your efforts, but also your entire village, which we have now launched between the spheres, so that I may do this." And everybody cheers. Hey. And now everyone, and I'm imagining they all have staffs that, those, that thing that you see on the box of Honey Nut Cheerios that moves or stirs the honey. Like they all have like staffs like that with that top, and they all descend. And it all points, and there's a central fountain, and it opens up, and it's this like sort of golden dripping portal to the realm of honey. Olicia says, thank you. I return home to take my rightful place as the queen of my realm. Thank you all. And she goes in, and they close up, and the party got to witness something really interesting. So it seems like there might be some politics going on the plane of honey. We'll just put that as a little thread, and we'll use that to replace Sticky Mystery Thing, because now we know what that was all about. All right, and we will call it there. Thanks so much for following along in our strange and wild adventure through the spaces between the spheres. If you like this, please like, subscribe, share with people who you think might be interested in this. This is Science Fantasy Awesome, and you are awesome.